survey to 5 people, and their their answers for question number 1. 3 people said that we did use critical thinking in our classroom about 50% of the time, and only 2 people said that they kind of used it. What are some ways that we can incorporate this into our curriculum?
Well, I think, for one, kids need to be using technology to create things instead of just like question answer activities on the Chromebooks. We need to be having them do some more open-ended projects.
So, like, give them a prompt and they have to go out and find research for it and put it all together. Okay, that's a really great idea. On the question about students using the Chromebooks legally and ethically, we had about 40% of the teachers respond and say that they sometimes are doing this. How are some suggestions or what are some suggestions for fixing this?
Well, at the beginning of the year, they do have to fill out the form agreeing to follow the guidelines of the technology usage.
Right.
But I don't think that they honestly understand what they're signing, and I'm not sure their parents are really explaining it to them. I think it's just a bunch of forms and let's sign them.
Right.
So I think that I think she had mentioned sometime about some kid-friendly wording,
Okay.
and then I think it would honestly be a good mini lesson just to go over.
Like a PBIS lesson at the beginning of the year when
Maybe
we're
add
teaching
that.
behaviors? Okay.
Maybe add that to our PBIS lessons, and maybe I'm trying to think of back to the forms, but add the other forms in, so it's just kind of a lesson about
Right, and
what you're signing.
some of the things that they said their kids were doing were playing games without permission and going to places that they weren't supposed to be, researching words that they weren't supposed to be looking up. So we could definitely address that in a PBIS lesson. And then we have a few teachers who are only using their Chromebooks that were provided about twice a week. How often do you use them in your classroom, and what are some things that you guys are using them for?
I use mine every day. I mean, the main thing would just be those reading counts tests, and I know that's not the best use of them, but something I've started doing since our research project on the famous Missourians, I let my kids free write and do free research, and so I have a lot of boys who are looking up like famous baseball players, and then they're researching them, and that's just something extra that they've been doing. But I feel like it's good for them to be researching. But that's just an example of something that they do, and my kids do use them every day though. I'd like to find better ways for them to be using them, but they do use them.
I agree with her that we really use them for things like reading counts tests. They're not as used as we possibly could be using them. I have started looking for ready-made things that are built for like Google Classroom.
Right.
So I can share them. Like I got a set of spelling activities that they could do with their spelling words, but then they're doing it on the computer, and they enjoy that. They think that's really cool. So finding things like that.
For our teacher that's not using the Chromebook very often, what are some suggestions we could give her? I mean, do you think it's a lack of her knowledge of the computer, or what do you think it is?
It could be, to just, I mean, because I know for me, that's probably what stops me from using the computer, is just a lack of knowledge of ways to use it. And it could also be the fear of misuse, like, because we have had students misuse them.
Right.
And so there's a lot of reasons that you could be.
Do you think it would be beneficial if we were to get some sort of professional development that would bring in ways that we could use it?
I would love to have some more professional development for me to know how to utilize them.
I agree with Paula in that I think people know how to use the computers and the Chromebooks, but
Right.
how to apply it in the classroom is where we're stuck. And I think we do need professional development classes. I do think it needs to be very focused, though.
Yes.
We've been to
Yeah.
some classes where people are just throwing things out left and right, and it's hard to keep up. So if we're going to
Yeah.
talk about Google Classrooms, then let's talk about Google Classrooms and
Right.
be very focused.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're in a very technology-driven world, and our students are going to have the knowledge of technology and how to work it and how to use it whenever they graduate. And I definitely think we need to come up with ways to best prepare them for that. So, thank you guys for coming, and we will definitely reconvene later and have more to discuss and share.
Awesome, thanks.
Great, thanks.